Hey family, welcome to another episode of She Say He Say ATL, man. We're coming down to the end of this season. We've had a fantastic season. We've been talking real heavy about black marriage. We've been talking about, replenishing the black family and working on some of those family values in order for us to build health and wealth. Statistically, we are healthier when we're married, and statistically, we are wealthier when we're married, right? So that's why we've been talking about black marriage and how important it is this season. But real quickly, we wanted to really talk about the disparities between men and women, right? As we've said before, nature gives us 105 men to every 100 women through childbirth. Typically, that's enough men, for every woman that wants to be married. But of course, we know in our particular community that is not necessarily the case, simply because we've lost a lot of men to jail and to death, right? Because of the Holocaust of the 70s and 80s that we came out of, right? So there's simply not enough men to go around. And if there's not enough men to go around, is it fair for all of our sisters to be single? Right? That's the question. Dream Queen, what you think about that? Is it fair if it's not enough men, if the ratio of men and women is off, right? Let's say for every 4 women that want to get married, there's only 1 man available. For those other 3 women, is that fair? And if we're trying to preserve our race, how do we handle that? So do you think that's fair?
No, it's not fair, and I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, there are not enough men to go around.
There's not enough men.
There are some women out there that are willing to share.
Just so y'all know. Okay. So there's some women who are willing to share. So you've heard it here first. Brittany said that she is willing to share, right? She's not selfish. So ultimately, that's one of the things that we want to talk about. We wanted to basically just really talk about a group of people that we bought on, or a couple that we bought on, called the Ruffs, right? The last name being Ruff. And essentially what we did, they are a polyamorous couple. And that means many loves, and they both believe in love outside of their marriage. Okay. And what we've been talking about all season, and we've been talking about polygyny, which is usually 1 man, more than 1 woman. And the reason that's important. But wanted to kind of touch on why we bought the Ruffs on. We bought the Ruffs on because of the mindset that you have to share the person that you're in love with, right? And we wanted them to speak to that. Even though they're not a polygynous couple, we wanted them to speak to how they navigate that particular love style. Without further ado, let's tune into the episode. And I guess real quickly, we'll do a shameless plug. We will begin shooting their reality show, Rough Love, this summer. Yes, it's gonna be a dope show. So now to be on Circuitry Media Network, so we gonna plug it. A little shameless plug there. But Rough Love should have that pilot for you guys at the end of the summer, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, check out this show with the Ruffs. I think y'all dig it. Hey family, welcome back to another episode of She Say He Say ATL. We're happy to be back today. Y'all have been, for those who've been riding with us for the last 2 years, right? We've been trying to put together this particular show since the beginning, right? So if anybody pays attention to what we've been doing over the last couple of years, we've been saying that we were going to get the Poly show put on and get it put together for you guys. So we have a treat for you tonight. We have that show for you, finally, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to go around the table. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to introduce themselves, right? Before we really hop into the meat of the topic. Ashley, go ahead and give us a little bit. I mean, everybody know you, but
everybody already knows who I am.
Let's give it.
It's your girl Ash Nicole, the plus size model of the group, and I'm here for body positivity and woman empowerment.
Okay. I'm not going there. I'm not going. She's not here today. So Dream Queen is not with us today.
Not today.
So she cannot argue with Ash about being the only plus size model of the group. So today, Ash is the plus size model of the crew. Once again, it's your boy Original Knockoff. You can definitely catch me on IG, original_knockoff. And we're going to let our guests introduce themselves and tell us about their podcast, so you guys can actually go on and check them out as well. Let's start over here.
Oh, I was gonna make him start.
Okay. Hey, make him do it. Just make him get in.
Nah, you go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kiara Ruff, one half of Ruff Talk. I'll let him actually talk about the podcast. He's just so much better with words.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Eddie Ruff. I'm the better half of Ruff Talk. We have a podcast, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere that you want to find us. You can find us with Ruff Talk 247, just like that.
Ruff Talk 247. Y'all heard it here. Go check them out.
Yes.
They will keep you definitely entertained.
Absolutely.
It's entertaining. It's definitely entertaining.
We appreciate that because we think we're just regular uninteresting ass people.
Nah, I mean, and if we paying attention, your following is growing as well.
It is.
Yeah, the following is growing. It's picking up. And honestly, I was reading an article today that was basically saying that more blacks, more African Americans are looking towards the poly lifestyle as an answer for a lot of the things that it is that we're going through, right? So, which is one of the reasons why we got out there and we just started looking and we found you guys in the first place.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of get into that this evening, but first, before we do that, let's do a real quick recap for those of you who haven't seen the first 4 episodes. Basically, what we've been talking about this season is the importance of black marriage. Black people marry at 39%. We are the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to wealth in this country and household wealth. Those who are number 1 in the country right now are Asians. Asians marry at about 70 to 75%, and they stay married. So there's a direct correlation between wealth in a household and marriage, right? And we're just not doing it. So one of the things that we wanted to do with this season of She Say, He Say is really fortify the importance of black people getting together and marrying and teaming up, because it increases your asset ability exponentially, right? It doubles your asset ability, right? So if you leave here and you worth $150,000, had you gotten married, you'd have been worth $300,000. That's the facts. Those are the things that have been put out here for us. So that's why black marriage is so important.
Right.
But what happened is we realized that there's maybe not enough people who want to do that, not enough people who want to get married. However, what we're learning is that this particular lifestyle may be an alternative to that for those who do want to team up, who do want to get married. As a matter of fact, you can accumulate wealth faster in a polygamous relationship. So let's educate ourselves tonight with the Ruffs. They're going to come in, they're going to provide us a little information on how this can be done, right? You dig? So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So here's the first question. First question that we have for you guys. Easy. I know you knocked this one out the park. You answered this one 100 times, right? How long have you guys been in this? I like to call it a love style.
Absolutely.
How long have you guys been in this particular love style?
So we've been married for 9 years, so we've been poly for about 5.
Look at that. Won't you do it?
Okay. All right. Okay. So question. Here's the biggest question.
Here he go.
Whose idea?
Here he go.
Yeah. Whose idea was it?
This
It was
is
her
his
idea.
favorite question.
It was her idea.
Okay, because most people are going to assume that it was the man.
Right.
It was the man.
Right.
Okay. So
I ignored her at first because the way that it started out purely sexual, and she wanted to see me with another woman.
Okay.
So that's how it started out. And when she said something to me in the beginning, it was during sex, and I ignored her because I wasn't finna fall for the trap. I wasn't finna fall into it. So I think she said something maybe 3 times, and I ignored her all 3 times. Because every time she said something was when we was in the bedroom. So she finally said something. I think we was sitting up watching TV one night, and she just finally said something to me. We was on the couch, and I was like, okay, I can take you seriously now, because it ain't just the heat of the moment. Right. So we tried swinging. Swinging wasn't for us, because we figured that somebody was gonna have to take an L, and neither one of us was gonna be a loser.
Yeah.
And then we kind of moved into, well, not kind of, we moved into threesomes, which was cool. But still, we don't have similar taste in women. So that's another reason why we kind of grew into the love style that we're in now. So after the threesomes, yeah, that was all cool, but I wanted something more than sex. Now, I wanted something more than sex. I wanted to have a connection. I wanted to be able to see what these women were about before I laid down with them. So bringing that to her attention was nerve-wracking. Like, how do I say this to her? How do I tell her I don't just want to have sex? I want to get to know these women. I want to establish a connection with these women. And fortunately, I have a very understanding wife who didn't beat me over the head, who didn't say, well, am I not enough? You know, we didn't have, that wasn't part of the initial conversation. So she understood, and she was like, okay, let's do it. And I think we had that conversation, and the next week I spent a weekend in Atlanta, and she had, I don't know what it was that she did.
A disaster.
Yeah. So I spent the weekend in Atlanta, and she had something going on at the same time. So that was our trial run. And it was cool. It was cool for me. It was a cool experience for me. For her, not so much. That's a story that she gonna have to tell.
Yes.
So in the beginning, we had a bunch of rules, a bunch of like what we can and cannot do, like how much money I could spend, what time I needed to be home, or if I hadn't left out the house at a certain time, then I can't go nowhere. Like, we had a bunch of fucking rules in the beginning. And as we continue to learn each other, learn how we wanted to love, countless hours of therapy for myself, we have evolved to where we are now. So, and it's still a learning process.
Right.
That's dope. That's dope. Okay, so a couple things that you said that I do have a question about. First, y'all don't have the same. What kind of women do you like?
He like dark-skinned women.
I like dark-skinned women.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm picky. Like, not all women are creative equal. So for me, like, I don't like masculine women. But there's this girl that I go to school with, and if she gave me the green light, she can get it.
Okay.
So, like, I'm very picky. It really just depends on the vibe and the you know what I mean? Like, what I may not think that I'm attracted to, I may end up being attracted to.
Gotcha.
So, you know, he has a type. You know what I mean? And I mean, even with the females that he has dated or whatever, I may be like, oh, she's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like what he likes.
Got you.
And then I got a question. What did you possibly say in the bedroom to bring up this? Like, what was the word?
I think that I said I wanted to see him fuck another woman. I think that's yeah. I mean, I still feel the same way with clothes on. Like,
well, I get it, but you know what I mean? Just the thought of that, like, just to be like intimate, and then the first thing that comes to you, or not first thing, but part of the intimacy, you'd be like, you know, I want to see you with another woman. That kind of
Like I said, I ignored her.
Kind of cool. I mean,
I pushed past it.
Smart man.
I pushed past it
in that moment.
I pushed past
it. Most men are going to do. You know, like you said, this is a trap. Something right here.
Right.
The women don't just come out and say this.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely smart man. So, man, there's so many. So, I definitely want to get with you with the therapy. That's going to be huge. But before I go there,
why you keep looking at me like that?
Because I have to find out what happened the first night. He went to Atlanta, right?
Oh, that night.
Yeah. He said it wasn't so good for you. Tell us about it. What happened?
I mean, the sex was just whack. Like, that's really, like, he's a cool dude. Like, we still talk like every blue moon, like maybe like once a year. But sex was whack.
Oh, wow.
And when you have to call your husband and ask him to finish the job, like, that's Yeah, that's
Basically, hurry up and get home.
Yeah.
That's what I got. It was a hurry up and get
But
home.
the ego was swollen.
I'm
Had
sure
to
it
be.
was. It still is. I don't care what he said.
I think it's kind of like now at this point, I know, like I know that, like, because we've been together for 10 years. We've been married for 9, but we've been together for 10 years.
Right.
So for 10 years, I've been learning and exploring her. So yeah, hell yeah, ain't nobody gonna come straight off the cuff and do it right. So I mean, I wasn't expecting that, but you know, it didn't hurt to hear it. It didn't hurt to hear it. And that's the extent of the conversation. Was like, yeah, you need to come home and finish the job.
I had a good time.
And that was it.
We went for sushi. Like, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Sex is just fucking whack. And he thought he was putting it down. I was like,
Damn. Hey, we gotta take that and use that clip for advertisement. And whoever he is, I hope he just see we're gonna run it. Sex was whack. Sex was whack. We just gonna run it back to back so he can realize that he didn't hit no spot.
and I know he still follows me.
Oh
well.
Damn.
Oh well.
Does he know he was the first person that he was active with? Because I mean, if he don't know down to the breakdown, then he won't
It was some years ago. I'm sure he don't even remember
I
that.
mean, it is what it is.
And especially if he thought he was doing something, he gonna still be over there tooting his horn thinking he did.
Child. I mean, you know, it. Oh, bless you, child.
She doesn't strike me as the kind that will put on for a guy though. She doesn't strike me as the kind that will fake it.
Speak up.
Oh, she's nice. She's nice.
Okay.
She's nice. Yeah, she's nice. She's too nice.
I may not do all the antics, but you know, I'm not gonna hurt your feelings either. You know what I mean? I have a soul. I'm not like him over there. So
Would you say, I'll stop you at the door?
I do stop. I have stopped mid-head and got up and left.
Oh.
Because it just wasn't what it was. Wasn't what it's supposed to be. And I have a motto, life's too short for whack sex. And I enjoy sex. Like, sex is an art form for me. So, and like Erica said, you know, I'm sensitive about my shit. So, ain't nobody finna tell me my shit was whack. Like, no way in hell. Like, that's not happening. That's not happening at all. So,
I wish all men thought like that. Cause they be like, they just get theirs and they be like, whatever.
Right, and don't even care.
Sucks to be those ladies. However, but no, let's get into though. Here's now for the people who have thought about the lifestyle, and we're so programmed with monogamy, right? There's a lot of readjusting that has to happen. So let's get into what you were talking about when you were talking about the therapy. Because that's a huge piece. Give us an idea, if you don't mind, sharing just the moment that you realize that, hey, maybe I need to work through some things.
I think it was very early on. I don't think it was just because of the poly thing.
Okay.
I was married before Kiara.
Okay.
And that relationship was fucking terrible.
Okay.
And I didn't deal with any of that. Like, I just left that relationship with all the baggage that I had, emotional baggage, all of that. I left that relationship. I think I left my ex-wife in the very beginning of 2011. I filed for divorce the very beginning of 2011. My divorce wasn't finalized until 30 days before me and her got married.
Ooh, our stories are similar. Anyway,
so, you know, I carried a lot of baggage into our relationship. My ex-wife was a serial cheater. Okay. Like, yeah, she did a lot. And a lot of what she did, a lot of what she put me through, a lot of what I allowed her to put me through, was really affecting us. Because if it walked like a duck, quacked like a duck, had feathers like a duck, oh, it must be my ex-wife. You know what I'm saying? But just because that's what it looked like, that's not really what it was. My place with Kiara has always been secure. But I didn't realize that because this poly shit it brought up a lot of those insecurities that I had from dealing with my ex-wife. Like, my ex-wife was telling other niggas that she was ready to settle down and start a family with them. while I'm thinking we good. You know what I'm saying? So now here's this opportunity for me and Kiara to make these connections with other people, and I know that feelings are going to be involved and all of that shit. So that fear came back. Okay, and I don't know what the conversation is. You know, like I found out about my ex-wife cheating on me because she was on my computer doing it. So that's how I found out what the conversation was. Right. So a lot of that was like, damn, I don't know what she's telling these niggas. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she just doing this as a means to like set up the next nigga to leave me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened to me in my previous relationship. Right. So I was in therapy. Yeah. I'm never gonna front about therapy. I'm never gonna talk bad about therapy. None of that shit. I am an advocate for black men. Because I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Yeah. Black men going to therapy and dealing with a lot of that shit. A lot of shit just from being black men. Not even having to deal with relationship shit, family shit, but just from being a black man. Right. I'm a Air Force vet too. So I've seen a lot of shit in wars and all of that. So it was a combination of things. Okay. And in order to make this work, I had to get my shit together. Yeah. And in order for this poly shit to work, I really had to get my shit together. Because we don't operate in the one penis policy. Okay. That's not something that I believe in. Like, I don't even like saying that I allow her to do anything because she's grown at the end of the day. Right. And I have to have enough faith and trust in her that she's gonna respect what we got, and she's gonna respect me at the end of the day. Right. And that's really where it all lies, and it's really what matters is that respect thing.
Okay. Yeah. It's dope. It's dope. The second, what you said, I myself have, going to therapy for many things that I had to get over. I'm just like you, was married prior to the current wife that I have. Had a lot of baggage there as well, right? They say your adulthood is where you spend most of your time getting over your childhood, right? So I even had some things from childhood that I had to deal with as well. So I second what you're saying, brother, about therapy is huge, and especially when, just from what I've been able to see, and as you can back me up if you feel the same way, but from what I've been able to see is being able to wrap your mind around the idea of another man or woman, regardless, because in my first situation, it was a woman, laying down with your significant other, right? And, your significant other receiving pleasure. Not only pleasure, sometimes you can even wrap your mind around the pleasure, but receiving that intimacy and even sometimes that love from somebody else. It's got to take some type of therapy, right? Right. So my question for you, how did you, or was there a period where you had to wrap your mind around him at all, falling in love with another woman?
Not really. Definitely not in the beginning. I know the first girl that he was talking to, I had asked him, did he love her? Her and I had a great relationship. Like, I thought she was dope as hell. Like, we had, like I said, our own relationship outside of him. And so I asked him, did he love her? And he was like, yeah. And I know for him, he was a little like hesitant because that was the first time love had really been brought up. So he didn't, I was just asking because I was just being nosy, but he didn't know, what the motive was behind me asking. So I know for him, he was a little hesitant, like, damn, am I allowed to say, yes, I love her? But I never really had any real insecurity issues. Like, I've always kind of prided myself on being able to have a relationship with all the females that he's dealt with. If meeting them was possible, I've done that. The last young lady that he was talking to, our birthdays are a few days apart, so she had came out here. She told him she wasn't coming until the beginning of the year, but I already knew she was coming. Like, we hadn't met yet, but we, had a bit of a relationship. And so I went and picked her up and brought her to the house and surprised him. Like, he didn't know she was coming. So I've never really had an issue as far as that is concerned, because I do know that that's my husband at the end of the day. Like, you can't, there's no way that our 10 years is going to, somebody else's 6 months is going to trump 10 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, been with him when he was getting kicked out the military. He was with me when I was a single mom dealing with baby daddy issues. Like, we've gone through a lot of shit outside of, before marriage, during marriage, before poly, during poly. Like, yeah, we fuss and fight like any other couple. We both have our moments of feeling insecure, but we both have a very clear understanding, like, this is us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we best friends, like, no cliche shit, like, we're best friends. And, like, he'll tell you, like, I'll catch a body behind you.
Yeah.
And it's no exaggeration. He's gonna say it just because it sounds good. Like, I know it's true.
Right.
Question: does the lifestyle? Okay, so I get that probably before the lifestyle, that probably helped you guys. That you guys already had a connection, a strong bond. But does the lifestyle actually bring it even stronger? Like, the way you just confessed, like, we're solid as a rock. Did that help? You being in this lifestyle, knowing that, no matter what, you guys at the end of the day are going to always come back together. Yeah. Did that help grow that?
It definitely did. We weren't horrible in the beginning, but it definitely made us, I think it made him more patient with me. Like I said, I never really had any insecurities or anything like that. So his insecurities, us being poly, made him see, okay, whether we're monogamous or poly, like, if I don't want to lose her, I got to get my shit together. But because he had no choice but to face whatever it was that he was dealing with, us being poly kind of, I think, made him move a little faster. Right. I guess
I get that.
But yeah, like, it's definitely made us communicate more. It's made him, like I said, more patient. And a lot of things that he deals with that I see him work through, I may be dealing with, and it kind of makes me look at it like, okay, if he can get over this, or if he can deal with it, I need to learn how to do the same thing. It's not easy. It's not fucking easy at all, but
it's
he's
constant work.
Yeah, and he's a great example.
The fact that you guys have each other to work that through makes it all to the good.
Because
it just makes it where you can feel like I have somebody to lean on when I'm not as strong.
Right.
And the same for the other half.
Yeah, because that's all that we had in the beginning was us.
Yeah.
Like, because there was no
black content.
Yeah, there was no real representation of what poly was in the black community. Like, the only poly that we would see was polygamy. And we're not, like, that's not something that we want to go towards, is polygamy. That's not us. And so trying to learn what else is out there other than polygamy, because I don't want another wife. I don't want another wife. I barely want the one I have. But I don't want another wife. You know what I'm saying? That's just not something that I want to commit to. Now, that's not saying that the women that I date, that takes away from their value. It's just, I don't want a wife. I don't want another wife. I don't.
Okay. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, but what we're going to do when we get back is, you said poly. I don't want that. So there's a lot of people out there who everything's poly, everything's polygamy. Everything's polygamy. So we're going to let you guys, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to let you guys break it down for us and explain what it is, what your love style is, and why it works for you. All right? We're going to take a quick break. All right.
So when we say take a break, if you guys want to.